الحمد لله الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون وقال تعالى وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداع إذا دعاني فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون وقال تعالى في مقام آخر قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى صدق الله مولانا العظيم. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us an opportunity to be part of what we will call an extended or alternatively an extra Friday, which generally we do not have an opportunity to attain, especially in the month of Ramadan. And with that in mind, when we look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how great Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been to us, on the one hand, certain things may have been taken away, but at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us something, an added, beautiful, extra time period in the month of Ramadan to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a greater level. With that in mind, we have to also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask ourselves in particular, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been so great to give us something extra, what have we accomplished throughout this month of Ramadan in our worship towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When we look at the word Ramadan, it has, although it has multiple connotations and multiple meanings, when we look at the word Ramadan, as we have explained before, it means to burn away, to let go of, like how a person burns off calories when they are exercising, how a person burns away all the negative. For example, if a person has a heat lamp or those things that welders use, there are certain things they use that heat lamp for to create a positive outcome from that constructing. So on the surface, it looks like they are doing something very, very harsh with that heat lamp, but in reality, they are constructing something new. And that newness comes after a lot of heat and a lot of energy. Likewise, my brothers and sisters, the fundamental question remains, as it links itself to Ramadan, did I burn away what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expected me to burn away? Did I reduce my gossip? Did I reduce or eliminate it? Did I reduce my interactions and negative dialogue with people? Did I at the same time reduce what Allah wanted me to reduce and at the same time increase those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed and expected me to increase? My brothers and sisters, this is very, very important. And why we say this is important is because our religion is not limited to worship only on Fridays or only on the last Friday of Ramadan, or alternatively only in the month of Ramadan, or alternatively only on specific days or nights of Ramadan. Our religion, mashallah, is a religion that is to keep us connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all times and in all states. In fact, if we study the life of the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een, you will notice something remarkable. And the thing that we see in their lifestyle is that they were not just Muslims necessarily around and only the Prophet of Allah. or great worshippers only during a specific month or specific time. That is why the Sahaba are called Sahaba. What is the meaning of Sahaba? We use the word Sahba a lot. Sahaba actually means that which is close to and that which is linked to the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. According to some, a Sahabi is that individual that not only obeyed the Prophet of Allah but also continued with Iman, whether the Prophet of Allah was present or not, even after he had passed away. They continued on this aspect of Iman and they continued on this aspect of Islam and holding up to the dignity of what Allah expected of them. My brothers and sisters, you probably all heard of the story of Khabbab radiallahu ta'ala an. And you look at his belief and how strong it was. It's remarkable. They gathered him in one spot. They apprehended him. And upon apprehending him, they said, now, if you are willing to give up this religion, in essence, you are free. Don't worry about it. You give up your religion and you are a free man. And he says, under no circumstances I can ever see myself turning my back on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the beloved Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. And you know full well, they said, fine, we will make you as part of a target practice. We will make you as part of a target practice. There was a time in which there were some young folks, they were playing, and they were playing with a bird. So this bird, as I mentioned before, it was born. So the mother went to get food and they were playing with it. And the mother came and she became very, very anxious. Where is my little birds? And who are these people and what are they doing with it? So when Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw these people doing this, he got very, very upset. And he says, this is not what humans and believers do. So let about hurting another human. Our religion is teaching us not to even create apprehension in even animals. That is why regarding the Eid al-Adha, a little bit too early to talk about that, we even learn you cannot even, for example, show the sharp part of the knife to an animal before you sort of take the life of the animal away. You cannot even slaughter an animal in front of another animal, let alone creating fear in that animal, let alone even creating fear in another human. My brothers and sisters, this is what Ramadan is all about. It's about us becoming peaceful and helping others become peaceful around us. But that's not what we do. We sort of thrive on anxiety. And this is unfortunately the sickness of modern humans. And media thrives on this. You look at the evening news. What does the evening news have? So and so got killed, so and so got murdered, so and such accident, such and such disaster, such and such disaster in a foreign land. I'm not saying don't report these things, but this is what modern humans thrive on, this anxiety and this adrenaline rush. And we learn from the story of Khabbab radiallahu ta'ala an, they all surround. Imagine for a moment 100 archers pointing 100 arrows towards you. And you are being told, do you wish to give up your religion? And perhaps if you give up your religion, all these 100 archers will be sent one side. And what does Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam mention about people like this? Well, let me give you what takes place here. He says, let me have a final word. If life is written for me, it's written for me. And if it is meant for me to live, I would live. Whatever is destined, I cannot change that whatsoever. But let me say one thing right now. This is the man in his last moments. He says, please convey, please convey my salams to the Prophet of Allah. Immediately Jibreel alayhi salam learns of this. And as the words come out of his blessed mouth, it goes directly with Jibreel to the beautiful blessed ears of Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam at that point stands up. Imagine, my brothers and sisters, the Prophet of Allah standing up for a human, a Prophet of Allah standing up for you and I. They say that if a Prophet of Allah cursed an individual, any Prophet of Allah, that individual will be doomed till the end of time. And we can even say the reverse can be true. That if the Prophet of Allah praises an individual or stands up for an individual and sends salutations to that individual's name, my brother and sister, will remain lofty till the day of Qiyamah. So what happened? What did Rasul do? He stood up and said, Wa alaykumus salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. These were the last words conveyed by the Prophet of Allah in this individual's last moments in his life. My brothers and sisters, as this month is coming to an end, we have a tradition. When I say we, I mean as Muslims, as we're coming to the last moments of Ramadan, we get so happy. We start putting on our Eid clothing, and mashallah, if Allah has blessed you with that, you should by all means go for that. But we have to ask ourselves, Eid has not yet come into motion, and yet I'm celebrating. What am I celebrating? We have, last night, the brother from K, what did he say? In essence, what he is saying is, what are you and I celebrating? You have the crisis of Kashmir. You have the crisis of Syria. You have the crisis of what is taking part right now in parts of India. You have crisis in parts of Bangladesh and in Pakistan. When I say crisis, we're talking of sometimes either it is bloodshed, other times it is poverty, other times it is inequity. And we have to ask ourselves, isn't it now in these last few moments, rather than doing a countdown, it should be, oh Allah, let me connect more with you right now. So this way, oh Allah, the blessedness of this month can continue beyond. We have our school name, MIU, Mus'ab bin Umair. I want to share with you a small story about Mus'ab bin Umair and his amazing wife. Mus'ab bin Umair, as you know, came from a very wealthy background. When he converted to Islam, he was stripped off from all his rights, basically. That's it. Imagine living in an atmosphere of amazingness. You have wealth, opulence, everything. It's at your leisure, it's at your disposal. The moment you say La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, everything gets cut off. My brothers and sisters, the same applies to you and I. Once you say La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, everything may not be cut off, but our lifestyle now becomes a little bit restricted, and people don't like to hear this. It gets restricted in the type of dealings I can take part in, products I can buy and sell, the type of relationships I can have. They become limited and restricted. My love and my dislike, that becomes monitored as well. I cannot just say, I dislike so-and-so. Why do you dislike so-and-so? Because is not an answer. Why do you love so-and-so? Oh, I just feel like it. What do you mean you just feel like it? We don't just do things because we feel like it. That's what our religion is teaching us. That's what لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ implies. Oh Muslims, oh people, be conscious at all times in your love as well as in your lack of love. We are living in a generation right now that is very peculiar. where individuals get into and out of relationships. You ask them why. Oh, well, it lost its spark. So now that just because it lost its spark, I can move on to someone else and I lose my spark and I find my spark somewhere else. Life is not a bunch of firecracking and firecrackers, my brothers and sisters. It's a test, as we learned in the month of Ramadan. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ. We are going to be tested with our love. We're going to be tested with our dislike. We're going to be tested with our wealth. We're going to be tested with our health. We're going to be tested with how we interact. And Mus'ab bin Umair, you know what he said? For the sake of my Allah and for the love of my Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if it means I must be going through this challenge, he says, fine, so be it. That's what this world is all about. Allah blessed him as a result with a loving wife. Allah blessed him with a very, very loving wife. And upon being married to her, there was again a battle that took place. They went into battle, and as you know very well, this woman, his wife, she lost her husband, she lost her father, she also lost her brother Abdullah. She also was a nurse in this battle. My brothers and sisters, we always seem to think women have no position. I got a call yesterday from some guy who hates Islam and Muslims. And, the first thing he says is, you people, and he said, I was amazed what he said. And I shouldn't be repeating it, but I'm showing you what's out there. He says, all you Muslims come from black ancestry. So I thought he knew who I was. So I said, oh, yes, I'm from South Africa as well. So I don't know what you're trying to say. He goes, no, no, no. All you Muslims, you all are from African background. And I said to him, my friend, even if we were, it does not matter. My religion elevated Bilal radiallahu ta'ala an. My religion, when the world was taking black people as slaves, my religion elevated Zayd radiallahu ta'ala an. My religion named a surah after Luqman radiallahu ta'ala an. And talking of women, he says, this is what you'll do to women and all the bad things. And you know what, my brothers and sisters? Although we will say our religion doesn't stand for those bad things, I want to ask you and I, what do we stand for in our relationship with our women folk? Now let's go back to the wife of Mus'ab bin Umair. She is in the battlefield. She is a nurse in that battlefield. She's helping our people in that battlefield. And all of a sudden someone says, something has happened to the Prophet of Allah. As she says, and she hears this, she says, what? My Prophet of Allah is hurt? My Prophet of Allah is wounded? My Prophet of Allah, you are saying his life is taken away? She loses her senses and she starts looking, where is the Prophet of Allah? Where is the Prophet of Allah? And as she's looking for him, as she's going towards him, they're saying, so-and-so died in your family. She says, oh, so be it. So-and-so died in your family. So be it. And she keeps on saying, where's Rasulullah? Where's Rasulullah? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. My brothers and sisters, you know what this means? It means we have to be appreciative of this ni'mah of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in our lives. When she sees Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, she realizes he's being seated. And I don't mean seated in nice fancy chairs like you and I, or sofas that you may be sitting on. He is seated, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is seated, and while he is seated, his gums are bleeding because of the fact that his Mubarak teeth, his blessed teeth, has become shaheed or tooth in that given war. And when she looks at him, she says, Ya Rasulullah, I may have lost my father, I may have lost my brother, I may have lost my spouse, but Ya Rasulullah, today when I see you, the grief of all that is wiped away. My brothers and sisters, the question is this: how did people love the Prophet of Allah more than their own parents, more than their own siblings, more than their own spouses? That remains the question. Do you know why? I'll share with you as we now come towards Eid, mashallah. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam is once leaving what we will call the Eidgah, the Eid area. So, going to it or leaving it, but regardless, it's a happy occasion. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the day of Eid will always, even though he had simple attire and simple outfits, on the day of Eid, he will always try to wear something nice, the best that he could bring forth. This is the sunnah of our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It doesn't matter whether you're poor, it doesn't matter whether you're rich. On the day of Eid, you always put your best footing and your best ahead. Anyway, as he sees this young boy, he's seated on the ground and he is sad. He's tearing and he's not very happy. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam goes to this boy and he says, young boy, what's the problem? It's the day of Eid. Every religion has a day of celebration. You know the hadith very well. This is our day of celebration. So young boy, take on the day and have fun. And that young boy looks at the Prophet of Allah and he says, Ya Rasulullah, I have lost my parents. I have lost my parents. How could there be an Eid for me? In other words, how can I enjoy? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam takes this young boy by his hand. He takes him to the house of Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha. She herself is not going through the greatest financial situation. We know this because, there was a time in which she came to her father and said, slaves have come by. We have access to them. Can you please give me a slave? Can you, as an employee, can you give me a slave as an employee? I'm not going to abuse that person. I just need a little bit of help in my house. Remember, she is the mother of Hassan and Hussein, two boys that are going to be the crown in paradise. Guests are always coming to her house. She doesn't have the luxury to say, I'm not home. She's taking care of official business as an official woman of the state, and a mother, and the spouse of Ali radiallahu ta'ala, who's also active believer and standing for Islam and defending Islam at all times. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam grabs this young boy, and what does he do? He takes this boy to the house of Fatima radiallahu ta'ala, and he says, Albisu, dress this boy up. Dress this boy up like how you are dressing your children. Dress this boy up like how you dressing Hassan and Hussein. Feed him like how you feeding Hassan and Hussein. My brothers and sisters, that is not all. That is not all. Thereafter, he grabs Hassan and Hussein, puts one on his right, puts one on his left, and thereafter he grabs this young boy who lost his parents, and he says, now I would like to place you on my back. I would like to place you on my back. And he walks with him to the Eid place. And he walks with him to the Eid place where everyone can now see not only the grandchildren of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but this young orphan boy as the highlight. My brothers and sisters, this is why people loved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, because he made people feel special. He made people feel amazing. He made people feel connected. It was not just all about perform salah, give zakah, go for hajj, fast the month of Ramadan, read Quran, dress like this, don't dress like that, do this, don't do that. No, he was a model. That's what the Quran says. فِيهِمْ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. In him you will find a great example. My brothers and sisters, that is why it is very important for us to realize that if we fully are saddened by this month as it departs us, our courage becomes into happiness if we have something to follow from that which we have learned in this blessed month of Ramadan. So our sadness should be turned into something positive. We don't just take that negative image energy and sink it somewhere. We as Muslims, we take that sadness and convert it into a change for ourselves and humanity. So, with that, my respected Muslim brothers in Islam, inshallah, as you are aware, Eid is around the corner. And as we fulfill our Friday and continue, we should also now reflect upon what are the treasures of Ramadan, what are the beauties of Ramadan. Make a note of that. What did I learn and what did I practice extra? And hold ourselves accountable on how we can continue these beautiful things throughout the month of Ramadan as well. My brothers and sisters, now inshallah there'll be an announcement, and after the announcement is done, inshallah, thereafter I will share with you a few instructions regarding the Eid Salah as well. Again, I sincerely thank you all for joining, mashallah, and now I will hand it over to our amazing treasurer, inshallah. Jazakumullah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh for now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Wishing you all peace, blessings, and good health from Islamic Center of Kaneha Valley. I have 5 announcements, so please bear with me. It may be a few minutes today. First of all, on behalf of the ICCB board, I would like to, and Imam Saab, I would like to thank all the community members for your very generous contributions during the fundraiser. Alhamdulillah, with your generous contributions, we were not only able to meet our goal, but even exceed our fundraiser goal. So again, thank you very much for your continued support. I also want to take the time to thank Imam Saab for his efforts during this month of Ramadan, for the online classes he offered, and fundraiser that he chaired on. It was not an easy one with the online session, but mashallah, he did a fantastic job. So thank you to Imam Saab for his efforts. For those community members who made pledges, we request you please fulfill your pledges during this month of Ramadan to multiply your rewards. But we also understand some people are going through financial hardship. So if you can't fulfill your pledge, just inform me or one of the board members, and inshallah we will make a note of that. Also, if you missed the fundraiser and you want to contribute, you can still do so by making your donations on the website. Number 2, Zakatul Fitr is $10 per person. It has to be paid before the Eid prayers. Many of you have already done so, but if you haven't taken the time, please take a few minutes. You can go to the ICCB website. There are various options for Zelle, credit card, Venmo. You can even drop your check at the masjid. And of course, you can also give your zakat to any family member or anyone in the community, any Muslim community member who may be deserving of zakat. Number 3, as Imam said, Eid is around the corner. Inshallah, we'll be making our Eid announcements through the ICCB website as well as the ICCB email in the evening before Eid. That has been the tradition at Islamic Center, so we will continue with that. Please make sure to check your emails and to check the ICCB website. Be offering a short Khutba, inshallah, on Eid day from 9 to 9:30. Again, on the Eid day from 9 o'clock to 9:30 for half an hour, there will be a short e-talk or e-khutbah, and you'll be using the same link that you are using right now to log into the Friday e-khutbah. So it will be the same thing. And of course, Riyaz Bhai will be helping us as he has always done. And thank you for his efforts in making sure that we are able to use this technology that we are using right now. And inshallah, we'll use it on Eid day as well. And then the last one, on Eid day, ICCB will be thanking the community members by distributing chocolates to all the community members from 10:30 to 12 noon, so 90 minutes, an hour and a half. And this will be in ICCB parking lot, 1 chocolate box per family. We have, mashallah, plenty of boxes, so you don't have to come in exactly at 10:30. You can space your arrival, again, between 10:30 to 12 o'clock in the ICCB parking lot. But you will have to stay in your cars, and we'll have more instructions for you. Also, kids that participated in the Ramadan contest, those awards will be given. I've been told my audio is not clear, so let me see if I can increase. So I'll just repeat this last instruction. On Eid day, ICCB will be thanking the community members by distributing chocolates to all the community members from 10:30 to 12 in the ICCB parking lot. one chocolate box per family. Inshallah, we will have plenty for the entire community, so you can space out your arrival time. Also, kids that participated in the Ramadan contest, and they will be given awards on the same day. Those awards will be communicated via email and also put on the ICCV website. Again, you're requested to stay in your vehicle when you arrive. Your gift will be given to you by the ICCV board members or volunteers who will be present there. And also, ICCV board members and volunteers will be in the parking lot to direct traffic. Again, please stay in your cars, observe social distancing, wear a mask when you arrive at the masjid, and more details will be provided in the email and the website. That is all from my side. I will turn it back to Imam Saab. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
Again, Jazakallah for joining us. I will just share. Some people may want to do the Eid Salah with their families. As you know, there are rules and regulations. You need minimum of, on an average, 4 people. And if you choose to do it before you join us, that's fine also. What it requires, I'll just make it easy for you. You will make the niyyah that you're performing 2 rakats Eid Salah facing the Qibla, number one. Number two, you are making the intention that you'll have 6 extra takbirat. Now, there are different ways of doing it, and whatever way you feel comfortable, that's totally fine. And just remember the sequence, and I'll give it to you. It's called THHT. THHT. Now, I'll make sense for you right now. You will pick up your hand and tie it. That's the T. And after you tie it, you say Subhanakallahumma. And thereafter, you'll pick up your hand and you let it hang. You'll pick up your hand, let it hang. And then again, you will tie it. So it's very easy. It's tie, Subhanakallahumma, hang, hang, and tie. Right? THHT. Then you read Surah Fatiha and a surah thereafter, and it's like a regular rakat. You'll get up in the next rakat, you'll stand up, and you read Surah Fatiha, and you read a surah. And after you do that, you'll just let your hands 3 times, you let it hang, and the 4th time, you'll go down in ruku. Again, if a person makes mistakes in all these things, it's totally fine. It's not a problem, because this is not something we do all the time. There is no need to worry about that, number one. Number two, on that day, try to get up. When you do get up, of course, read Allahu Akbar as much as you can. After, of course, you've made your wudu and done all the necessary stuff. And that's the beauty of this given day. Anyway, I'll mention more to you about it later on, inshallah, on that given morning that we will take part in it. But anyway, I look forward to seeing each one of you. Thank you sincerely for joining. May Allah bless you. May Allah reward you. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your last few moments of the month of Ramadan. As I've said, if it's sad and we take it to be a sad thing that Ramadan is moving away, but we should be encouraged that we have learned a lot, we have done great things, and let's keep to it as the month of Ramadan continues, because that's what we will have. The beautiful things that we have done, is our job to carry it beyond. Thank you all for joining. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.